Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in River City Ransom, grabbing the Special Move Master achievement. This is to buy and learn every special technique in the game. So if you have a second controller or a second person to help out, I recommend you do this in 2-player. This is totally optional, however, it will make things a lot easier thanks to a little special trick. Then what you want to do is you want to set the game to Novice, fast text speed if you want, hop in, and then your first goal is to make sure you get both people over to the second town. So just keep heading right until you get to the construction site, and then just hang a left into the second town, and this is going to be our first farming spot for money. Obviously, learning all the special techniques is going to cost quite a bit of cash, so what we need to do is we need to farm money in this spot. So the reason we're doing this with a second controller is because if you move the second controller off screen, if you ever do die with the first controller, instead of losing half of your money, you are just going to respawn where the second controller has been moved to and basically keep all of your money. This only works if the second controller is off screen though, so you have to make sure you move them to another area. So having a second controller handy is going to help us a bunch because it's going to allow us to farm as recklessly as we want to, and it pretty much takes healing out of the equation since we can just kill ourselves and respawn with a full health bar instead of having to drop money on food, for example. And all you have to do for this first farming area is just stay here, and you want to keep level grinding until you hit about $27 or so. Once you hit $27, it's time to head back to the first town, so just head left and then keep going until you get back to town 1. So that's pretty much just one street over. Once you are here, you want to hit up this bookshop right here, and inside is going to be the first special technique that you want to buy. This special technique is also going to be important because it's going to allow us to farm in a faster spot. So make sure you buy the dragon feet. It's going to cost you about $27 or so, which is why we farmed all that money. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure you exit, and then to use and learn a special technique book, what you want to do is you want to hit Y to open up the pause menu, go into belongings, and then go to your inventory and make sure you just learn the special technique. You know you've learned it once it has the little hashtag next to it. Then once you have finally learned it, it's time to back out. Now, there are another 2 special techniques that you can learn at this store. However, of course, we do need more money. So we're just going to head back towards the second town, and we're going to go to a different farming spot that's going to be way quicker than the one we were using. Once you are back in the second town, what you want to do is you want to continue right. You should now be at the bridge. If it's your first time here, you should get a little cutscene. Once that's over, just take both characters up to the upper left, and in here you should meet these 2 optional bosses called Benny and Clyde. What you want to do here is you want to do the same trick. Make sure you move the second player off screen, and then you want to make sure you use your new dragon feet ability to beat these 2 guys. The ability is going to make this fight rather easy, so make sure you take them both out. They should both drop a combination of about $7 or so this is going to be way faster than the previous area, which dropped about $2. And all you have to do is just keep up this farming spot until you get to the required money. You are going to need about $256 or so in order to get all of the techniques. That should take maybe about 20 to 30 minutes to farm or so, but once you have the money, it's time to head back to the first town so we could buy those remaining 2 techniques. So once you get back to the first town, make sure you hit up the bookshop, and then make sure you buy the remaining 2 techniques, which are going to be the Stone Hands as well as the Acro Circus. Both of these are going to cost about $27, exactly the same price as the Dragon Feet. We just prioritize getting the Dragon Feet first because it's the most useful move in the game, and it makes defeating all of the bosses, even with base stats, a lot easier. Once you have both of the moves, just make sure you leave the bookshop, and then it's time to open up your inventory and learn them. So Y button, go into belongings to get access to your inventory, and make sure you read both books, and once they both have the little hashtag next to them, we are safe to move on. Now, the rest of the books are going to be far off in later parts of the game, so we are just going to make a run for them instead of actually playing through the story. So once you have learned both things, it's time to leave, and we are going to start heading right towards the second town again. So just make sure you head there, skip all the enemies if you can. Remember, you do have infinite lives thanks to our little 2 controller trick, so if you do end up taking a spill, just make sure you move one of the controllers off screen and then kill off the second controller, and they should respawn back with a full health bar. And of course, you can take advantage of this whenever you want to in the game. So once back in the second town, which one of these want to keep heading right. This time we're going to go past the bridge, and this is going to take us into the little foresty area. Make sure you keep going right until you can make a turn. Make that turn, and you should be outside of the auto shop. This is where we would normally go to fight the first boss. However, we are skipping the major story beats so we can just speed along to get to the other towns in order to just buy the books from the various bookshops. So just make sure you ignore everyone along the way and ignore what you are supposed to do so you can get there a lot faster. So once you are in the auto shop, make sure you do the little bit of platforming to get over the boxes. Just take out any enemies who are in your way or who are giving you any trouble, but don't go out of your way to fight people, of course, because we don't want to accidentally die on both controllers and lose all our money. So be a little careful on this trip. Once outside, just keep heading to the right. You should go through a tunnel, and then you should be in another little foresty area. Once here, just make sure you make the turn. You should be in another construction site, and then the next screen after this should be the next town. So we should be in the third town. In town is going to be yet another bookshop, and then we are going to take advantage of this one. It should be the first building you see on the right once you enter town, and we're going to buy the next technique. So make sure you scroll down the list and make sure you buy it. It's going to be the Fatal Steps, which is going to cost about $38 or so. Make sure you buy it, and then which one of these you want to open up your inventory and make sure you learn it. Of course, you do have to make sure you have learned all the techniques in order to get the achievement. It's just not buying them. You have to make sure you've learned all of them. So once you have that hashtag in place, make sure you exit, and then it's time to head to the fourth town. So to get there, what you want to do is you want to make sure you keep heading right. You are going to head through the entirety of the third town, and then you are going to head past this construction site, and then you should be in front of the steel mill. Make sure you head through the doors, and then you are going to be in this area. What you have to do is you have to make a big running jump to clear this gap. If you do miss it, there's a door you can take up instead. So just make sure you take either option. Take the gap or take the door, and then head up to this part. Once you are here, what you have to do is you have to continue right to head through this set of doors, and this is the place where you would normally fight the leader of the zombies. He will only appear if you've been following the story. Otherwise, the room is just going to be filled with regular gang members, but it shouldn't really matter since we are just ignoring everyone and just continuing our journey. So jump on the little balcony and keep walking right, and then jump on the opposite platform. And once again, just ignore whatever's here and then just head through the door. This should take you to the downtown area. Once there, what you want to do is you want to make sure you turn down this alley, and then it should take you to the fourth town. First stop is going to be the bookstore, obviously, which should be the first building on your right. Head on inside, and then we are going to buy the penultimate technique, which is going to be the Grand Slam. This one is going to cost about $58, so make sure you pick that one up, and then we have one more book to go. Once you have the book in hand, make sure you leave the store, and then it's time to head over to the right. There's actually a second bookshop in town, so make sure you go there, and then in here is going to be the final ability. It's going to be called the Javelin Man. It's going to cost about $79 or so, so pick that one up and then leave the shop, and then finally open up the pause menu, belongings, and then just learn the last two abilities. Once they have hashtags next to them, we should be good for all of the moves, but also the achievement. There it is. This one's going to be for 100 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.